Greetings, folks. I just wanted to get on here just for a brief video, a brief time of sharing, and just share some things on my heart and mind. I fundamentally, or primarily, just want to share about, I did permanently delete my Facebook account this morning, and wanted to share the reasons why personally that was something I felt led to do and needed to do. Kind of been wrestling with that for quite some time and trying to weigh the pros and the cons of staying on that particular platform called social media. Sometimes I think it should be called unsocial media, considering some of the things that we often see transpire. But anyway, the positive aspect that kept me on for as long as I was there was the fact that it is, really the only contact that I felt that I had with people, brothers and sisters in Christ in other states, other countries, and so forth. Honestly, I only had a very small percentage of interaction with those on my friends list, and and that's the reason I left it up for a few days after I announced that I intended to go off of it, so that anyone who wanted my email address, what have you, would be able to contact me, because I do receive messages from a handful of folks, and a handful of folks do interact with the post and so on. But on the negative side, this is what I was weighing in my mind and going back and forth. Well, let me go back. On the positive side, I also had this possibility in my mind that maybe, putting the sermons on there, the Wednesday night teachings on there, putting Christian memes on there, putting Bible verses on there would possibly have some positive spiritual impact. And maybe it did. And so I had that on one side, but on the other side, okay, what's over here on the negative side? The draining side, the side that is more harmful than helpful. A lot of negativity, political rancor, venting, gripes, complaints, tragedy, all sorts of don't agree with this, don't agree with it, this going on, that going on. And I looked at that and just began to really deeply ponder the way that God has made us, the way that God has designed us, our nervous system, our emotions, our mental health. We have enough negativity, awareness of illnesses, awareness of dysfunction, awareness of family problems, awareness of tragedy within the realm that we operate in on a daily basis, and the people that we know at least to some degree or know of that are in our vicinity. And so I began to think about that, and do I really need to take more of that kind of stuff into my mind, into my heart, and pile on more of this draining information overload? And I really believe this nation is awash in information overload that is at least in part a cause, while I hear again and again that we have an epidemic of anxiety, depression, isolation, loneliness, and I have no doubt that in part this social media thing and the internet and all this 24-hour news and knowing all these stuff that's going on around the world is more than our mind and our nervous system was designed to handle. I think we need to live in a smaller sphere. I think we need to relate to one another face to face, in person, like God designed us to do. And this is to me, a big failure as far as being any kind of a substitute. I know it's not supposed to be an ultimate substitute, but it falls far short of being social like we are designed to be social. And so even as I'm sitting here making this video, this is not the best platform. It'd be better to have the people that are watching this here in the house or me in their house talking to you face to face. But at least on this, one advantage, you can see my facial expressions. You can hear the tone of my voice. When I type something out on Facebook, you don't know whether I'm angry, happy, sad. And so people get irritated at one another. They get argumentative and the name calling. All that stuff that I've been seeing over the years and reading over the years is just a drain on my spirit. It's not edifying, and it far outweighs the good. I know there are people there that try to post good stuff and spiritual stuff and Bible verses and quotes from Spurgeon and all those kind of things. I understand the motivation behind that, but I have never found it in my own case to outweigh the bad. I think the bad influence is much heavier. And like I've already said, I don't need to add any more negative information to my mind. It burdens the heart. It weighs on the heart. It weighs on my mind. As I've shared with some of you already on this, I've already throughout my life battled with that sense of melancholy, and that stuff just sends you deeper. And I need things to edify, to build up, to truly keep my focus on Christ, undiluted with all this other stuff shouting in my ears and going into through my eyes. Also, one of the things that I would count on the negative side of the ledger is seeing folks on my friends list posting, that I know profess to be believers, profess to be Christians, and time after time after time they post things about doing this and doing that and doing the other on Sunday. Haven't been to church in a long time, don't know of them going anywhere, and yet they will profess to you that they're believers, even though they are living contrary to the direct command of the Lord to assemble together and not forsake the assembly. And so, which tells me if they did really love the Lord, they would be doing what He tells them to do. That produces a profound sadness, just seeing those posts. They may not be saying anything negative or hurtful or vulgar, but just seeing them proudly proclaim of this stuff they're doing on Sunday, and they'll look you in the eye and tell you they're believers, they're Christians, they're going to heaven. And that is profoundly sad because they live as if they're not going to die. They're dying daily, but they live as if death is way out there in the future sometime. And if they have any inkling of ever doing anything as far as changing their ways spiritually, it's, one of these days, I know I need to do things different. I know I need to get back in church, blah, blah, blah. They don't have the power to make that statement in reality because we're not promised tomorrow. And every day, regardless of your age, regardless of your health, you are one heartbeat away from eternity and standing with the Lord. And you're not going to say, give me a redo. That's not going to be an option. And so you don't have to be feeling sick. You don't have to be what we consider old. You can fall over with a heart attack, a stroke. You can get out on the road and get killed, get hit head on by somebody, and your life is gone, and you're there before the Lord, and it's over. And all this stuff you're working for, and all this stuff you're building up for yourself, and all this stuff you're running after for pleasure and amusement and all the rest is forever gone. And now eternity is before you, and you are there naked without Christ. And so you see that as a believer, and it can't help but make you profoundly troubled and sad. But these people will not listen to you when you warn them about that. And I would post things on Facebook to try to get that message across. Absolutely no effect, no change. Because the human mind, the fallen mind, makes death a far-off entity, and it suppresses the thought of it being always near and eternity being before us. So that's another tragedy, that gets piled onto your heart, gets piled onto your emotions. And so I don't need that either. If people are determined to go to hell, if people are determined to continue to rebel against God and do their own thing and lean to their own understanding, I've got to come to the conclusion there's nothing I can do about it. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it. They will not listen. And I've seen that my whole life. I know better. But still in your heart, you hope something that's said, something that they see, something they view, something they experience will shake them and wake them up and cause them to say, hey, I need to get serious about the things of the Lord. You know, I need to make sure that I truly am a believer. I say I am with my mouth, but the fruits are not there. I'm not living as a believer lives. So that's troubling. The spiritual atmosphere we're in today, and all the confusion and the foolishness and the stuff that parades itself as church, and seeing those things is depressing and discouraging. And so it's a decision that I made, again, after much mental gymnastics and thinking about it and weighing the good and the bad. And for me personally, the bad far outweighs the good, the negative impact. As I said, I know enough going on in people's lives that I actually know, I actually have physical contact with. That's grievous enough. That's burdensome enough. I don't need to add any more from the outside world. In the outside world, I mean the internet and other states and other countries, and we are truly, I believe, not meant to bear that. We can't bear it. It's too hard, and I do believe it is directly affecting our mental and emotional and spiritual health here in this country because we have too much information. There's too much going on. And one thing I would do, and of course this is everybody's ultimate responsibility and choice, but I would encourage you, especially if you're a believer, and I don't know anybody else that would be watching this particular YouTube channel if they're not a believer, but if you're a believer, I would encourage you to disconnect from social media and to get away from it. You may not realize the negative effect it's having on your mind, but interspersed in that stuff you feel is good and maybe profitable and maybe worth it is a lot of bad stuff and a lot of draining stuff and stuff that is going into your eyes, going into your brain, and once it's in there and will continue to be recalled from time to time and trouble you. So I believe we should make our circle smaller, as I've said. I believe we should be more simple in regards to what we are involved in and what we are taking in. We can't solve the world's problems. We're not called to solve the world's problems. This world has been as it is since the fall. It will be until the Lord comes and makes all things new. We're not going to create a heaven on earth. We're not going to create a utopia. We're not going to bring peace. It is a fallen world, and as long as it is run and governed and lived in by sinners, self-centered sinners, it is going to be in many ways a sad place. And we don't need to take on more than that than we have to in our little area of operation and living. So that's my reason for finally deciding to pull the plug and to get away from that. I just don't need to see it. I don't need to be exposed to it. It's a distraction. It's a time killer. It's a time waster, I believe, when we could be either reading the Word, praying, face-to-face fellowship with someone, and actually doing some good, rather than sitting in front of a computer screen or staring at a smartphone, a rectangle in our hand. So I just wanted to share this and kind of give you a little brief reason why I felt it was necessary. And my prayer is, and I ask you to pray for me as well, that it will be helpful and that I will be enabled to focus more on things that are upbuilding and edifying rather than all the negative stuff being spewed out in our society today on every hand. Say I don't need it, don't need any more of that stuff. I don't desire any more of that stuff. I want to focus on the Lord and what He places before me in a personal way. And Facebook to me is just, it's not real. It's fake. I mean, how many of those people on any given person's friends list actually has any relationship with them? Actually cares when the going gets rough, actually will be there, actually prays for them. Actually, it's few, folks. I'm not saying it's nil, but I'm saying it's few out of that number. You got these people, 2, 3, 4,000 people on their friends list. It's like, come on, people, you know. So this whole desire to be recognized and known, know what everybody else is doing, I don't need that, folks, and you don't need to know what I'm doing. If you want to commune with me, you can call me. You can come physically visit. But I'm trying to make what I know smaller. And I believe I need that. It's really a struggle in our time. So many things pressing on us to get us down and to discourage us, and don't want anyone to feel that way. Don't want anyone to go through life in that way. We are to be walking in the joy of the Holy Spirit. And when you fill your minds with more of this world and the flesh than you do of the Spirit, well, we reap what we sow. And the life we live is not going to be one of joy and victory. It's going to be one of being downcast and having all that stuff running through your mind and weighing on your heart. And that's not profitable for any of us. So I would encourage you, if you've had any inkling or thought about maybe it would be better for me to get off of social media as well, I encourage you to take that step and do it. And I think you will profit from it if you do. And I ask you to pray for me, because this has been a habit for me for a long time, getting on there and checking that at different times of the day. I think it's more of a passer of time than anything. I don't have any inkling that it's some big profitable thing or some information that is needful for me to know each day. Most of it is like getting junk mail, let's be honest, and all the ads and everything else that it's full of now. And so I'm just thankful that we have the opportunity to still get together. I wish it was more. I wish people had more real face-to-face relationships instead of depending on these computers and smartphones. I'm gonna be honest with you, I loathe this stuff. I'll be honest with you, my personal desire, I wish it had never been invented. People say, oh, but all the good things that come from it. I personally believe it's more harmful than good. I'm talking about human relationship wise. I think it's done more harm than good. I think I've spoke to this before. It's, it always hits me between the eyes anytime I go somewhere where I have to sit in a waiting room. And people can be sitting shoulder to shoulder. Don't speak to each other. First thing they do is pull out that plastic rectangle. And they're all sitting there like with walls around them in their own little world, isolated, doing this. And I just look at people and I just think about how sad our society has become, addicted to these plastic rectangles, controlled by them. Our emotions, our minds are being controlled by this stuff, feeding that stuff into our minds like somebody eating junk food all day long. And we wonder why we're in the state we're in every facet of life. And I believe that is a big part of the mess that we're in society. There's other factors, of course, but this is not helping. And one of the major attributes that God created us with is to be communal and social creatures. Face to face, speaking face to face, speaking, being in a bodily presence with one another in the same room, and carrying on this conversation, communion, doing things together, not living a life of a voyeur, looking at people's vacations and what they're doing with their kids and all through a computer screen. Come on, people, that falls so far short of real living. And it has become an excuse to isolate ourselves even more. And so my prayer is that somehow, some way, I don't have the answer for it, that people become weary of this stuff and actually begin to put it down, turn it off, disconnect from it, move away from it, and seek real flesh and blood relationships. And so just wanted to share that with you, and again ask for your prayers that in this time I've been wasting on Facebook that I would find more nutritional things, fulfilling things, profitable things for the soul. Thank you.